Hey everyone, we are here in the EA booth here looking at Unravel, one of the games I was most excited about looking at more deeply after the press conferences. This is the game starring Yarny, the cat, and I haven't been able to piece together what's precisely what the narrative is yet, but I'm getting feelings about memories. Can you go more in depth into that?
Yes and no, actually, because I don't want to say too much about it, because I think it's important that players get to kind of make up their own minds about what things are and what they mean, and things like that. We do have a narrative there, but our narrative style is more about, we put the pieces of the puzzle out there, but we don't necessarily tell you what it is. It's more like, if you're interested in it, then there will be lots of stuff for you to find, but we don't want to push it on anyone. There are, of course, themes that we're going for. This whole thing about love and connections and trying to, this whole thing about reaching out, how you try to make your yarn reach all the way from the start of the game to the finish of the game. It's very symbolic, of course.
On the topic of symbology, there's a concept in Japanese culture of the red string of fate, or the red thread of fate. Is this what's happening?
Yeah, that's definitely one way of looking at it. It's related, you could say.
So in this we travel as Yarny, and we have different mechanics such as tying off pieces of yarn, finding more, because of course it unravels and we are unable to move anymore. Can we talk about the mechanics a little bit?
Yeah, of course. It's all physics-based, the entire game. So that's one of the things we've been going for, both with the art style and everything, and also in the gameplay, to keep it realistic, to make sure that everything is kind of like a real, tangible thing that behaves in the way you would kind of expect it to behave. So all the puzzles are made out of actual real things that you can kind of look at and figure out their function just by looking at them, rather than more abstract, floating platforms and weirdness. But the actual, at the base layer, I guess it's kind of like what you would expect from a platformer. You run and you jump and you climb and you can push things and pull things like that. But then we also have that all those yarn abilities that you can do. You have always leave this trail of yarn behind you as you run, and you can use that and to interact with things. So you can attach it to things, either tethering yourself to stuff or tethering things together. So you can kind of create some pretty complex mechanics out of that. And you also have a lasso that you can use to just swing around on, which is really fun. But you can also use it just to extend your reach, which is kind of it's pretty cool when you get that flow going, where it's you're on a platform and you need to grab something, you can just hook it with your lasso and just bring it along. Things like that.
I definitely felt that when I was demoing it. It was really fun and cute, but of course we had two levels. One was a little bit darker. Is this the kind of game that the mood changes as we go on?
Yeah, it does, definitely. I think there are a lot of different environments, a lot of different levels, and all of them have their own moods, their own themes going on. And it does get pretty dark at times, but I think the overall feeling of the game is very positive. Making players feel like they're doing something that's good and worthwhile is an important thing. Just have to enrich them somehow and make them, feel a bit good about themselves, I guess.
What were you thinking in the back of your head as you went through the process of making this game?
I created this whole game when I was on a camping trip with my family. I know you heard the presentation at EA. I made a little doll. I was running around in the wood with it, playing with it. And as I was doing it, I was just amazed, because it felt it's like I'm finding pieces that are almost already there. It doesn't feel so much like you're, creating them or thinking it through. It was more when sculptors talk about the statue already being there in the stone, you just
you find it,
chip away the other stuff, and that's kind of what it felt like. Just this great thing was already there waiting for me to find.
So I know we don't have a date set on this yet, but when can people see more of Unravel?
I don't know. That's for future to tell, I guess. We'll see when we show up the next time. But I'm just like super excited that they know about it now, and they finally, some people have gotten to try it, and I just want as many people as possible to be able to try it. So like, I hope that we can show it off again soon.
Well, I've tried it, and I certainly want to see more coming up, which is why I asked. There's a lot to explore in the game, a lot that you feel you're uncovering, which probably a good idea you didn't straight up tell me what it is. I'll figure it out, and you will too. Thanks so much.
Thank you.